Language learning is broken. If you've ever tried to learn a language the traditional way, through school or apps or textbooks, there's a good chance you've been set up to fail. Most people spend years trying to learn a language, yet still struggle to have basic conversation. And the crazy part? It's not their fault. The truth is, language learning is broken. The way it's taught today is just painfully slow, outdated, and it's just not for most people. In essence, a total waste of time. Think about most people trying to learn a language. You sit in a classroom, you memorize grammar rules, do vocabulary drills, and maybe spend some time learning how to read and write before you even end up speaking. Then you go out into the real world and freeze. You can recognize some words, maybe even understand some grammar, but when it's time to actually speak, your mind goes blank. It's like all the studying you did nothing to help you in real conversation. And that's because the traditional language learning methods were never designed to get you to be fluent fast. You ever wonder why learning a language is so slow for most people? Why we're told that it takes years to get fluent? Well, it's not an accident. Big language, I mean the companies that sell you apps and textbooks and all these sorts of things, need you to believe that learning language is slow and difficult so they can continue to sell you these useless products over and over and over again. If you actually learned fast, if you became fluent in months instead of years, big language wouldn't be able to sell you more study materials, grammar guides, and overpriced language programs. So instead, they teach you the slowest possible methods. They give you just enough progress to keep you coming back, but never enough to actually get you fluent in a new language. And that is why most people quit. They feel like they're putting in so much effort but getting nowhere. And so we both know what happens as a result. They just assume that it's them. They think that they don't have some special language gene or that languages just don't agree with them. But that's not true. The problem isn't you. The problem is the system. The reason most language learning programs don't work isn't just because they're outdated. Again, it's because they were never designed to get you to speak fluently in the first place. Let me teach you a little bit of history. The traditional language learning that we still use today was actually based on systems that were invented over 100 years ago and were designed to help students study Latin. Back then, learning Latin really did mean memorizing grammar rules, translating written texts, and passing grammar exams. Learning Latin wasn't about learning how to speak with somebody. It was about learning an art form and studying it the way a scholar would. And even when modern languages like French, Spanish, or Japanese were added to the curriculum, the same outdated approach stuck. Schools never updated their methods to focus on real-world fluency. They just switched out Latin for another language, but the old method of approaching studying these languages stayed the exact same, focusing on passing tests and written-based materials. And that's why most people who study a language in school, sometimes even professionally, still can't hold a real conversation. Now, you're probably thinking, what about language apps? Those are modern, right? Wrong. The same thing goes for these apps. Now, it's true that most of them are not aimed at studying Latin, and they never have been. But most of them are designed just to keep you engaged, not to get you fluent. They reward you with streaks and points and gamification and all these things, but not actual speaking ability. Because again, if you became fluent too quickly depending on these apps that are in your pocket all day, they would lose a paying customer. And by the way, I'm not just talking about you. I'm talking about the paying customer, which is the person paying to show you ads on those platforms. This system also was never built to help you get fluent fast. It was built to have you learn slowly so that you continuously consume ads. And that's why everything you've been told about learning a language so far has been wrong. Think about this. Have you ever met someone who spent 4 years learning a language in school but today can't actually hold a real conversation? Well, it happens all the time. But again, it's not their fault. It's because the system and the approach they've been using was designed to teach them about a language, not how to speak a language. And apps like Duolingo, they turn language learning into a game, which seems fun at first. But again, they don't get you speaking fluently. Repeating random words and sentences that appear on a screen every once in a while is not how you actually learn how to speak a language in the real world with real native speakers. Grammar drills, they might help you ace a test, but they do nothing to help prepare you for conversation. You don't think in grammar rules when you speak in your native language, do you? So why on earth would you think that would work when you're learning a new one? Even immersion, one of the most effective ways to learn, fails when people don't know how to do it correctly. Simply surrounding yourself with a language won't magically make you fluent if you don't have the right system to take advantage of that immersion. I mean, again, how many people do you know who have lived in a country for a while and they never really learned much than a couple words like hello and goodbye? So this is the real issue. Most people fail at learning a new language not because they're bad at it, but because they're using broken methods. But the good news, that all changes today. Right now, you are at a turning point. The way you think about language learning is about to completely shift. Once you start using the Fluency Formula, you are going to see real conversational results faster than you ever thought possible. Imagine this. In just a few short months from now, you're speaking your target language with confidence. You're having real conversations, understanding real native speakers, and actually enjoying the process instead of grinding through textbooks and flashcards that don't actually work. You won't be second guessing every single word you speak. You won't be stuck translating in your head. You'll be thinking in the language, responding fluently, and finally feeling fluent. This is not just another course. It's a complete comprehensive system that will tell you what to do every single day of your journey until you achieve conversational fluency in just 200 days. But I have to warn you, this isn't just some magic pill. For the system to work, so do you. You will actually have to put in the work. The difference is, now you have a roadmap that guarantees you actually get the fluency you desire if you do put in the work. The next big step on your Fluency Formula roadmap is defining your why. Why do you want to learn this language? What is driving you? Maybe it's for travel, maybe it's for career opportunities, maybe it's to connect more deeply with someone that you care about. Whatever your reason is, lock that reason in, because that is what's going to push you forwards. And once you hit fluency, how will you celebrate? I want you to picture the exact moment. Maybe it's ordering food in a restaurant with perfect pronunciation. Maybe it's having a deep conversation about philosophy with a native speaker for the first time. Maybe it's watching an entire movie without any subtitles and understanding every single word. Or maybe your goal is like mine, where you wanted to surprise a loved one by learning their native language in secret in just 200 days. Well, hold on to that vision because it's way closer than you think. You're about to get fluent faster than you ever imagined. You don't need to waste years, you don't need to follow broken methods, and you definitely don't need to keep jumping from app to app to app, hoping that the next thing works. You're here now, and inside of Fluency Formula, you have everything that you need to achieve fluency. I'm so excited for you to take this journey. Let's get started.